Welcome to r/Am I the Butthole, where OP calls out her parents for stealing money from children. Am I the butthole for calling my parents thieves for taking the money I saved for my 16th birthday and spending it on new sneakers for my autistic sister? I'm a 16-year-old girl, and I don't get to celebrate my birthday every year because my parents can't afford it. I got myself a summer job months ago, and I saved money for my sweet 16th birthday since my parents won't be doing anything for me this year either. My birthday is next week. Yesterday, I discovered that my mom searched my room and stole the $120 that I hid under my bed like she always does. I called her, and she said that she was keeping the money safe and will talk after she gets home since she, my dad, and my autistic 14-year-old sister were out. I waited till they got back, and my sister started yelling cheerfully, telling me to look at the new sneakers my parents got her. I asked my mom for my money, but she said that she spent it on new sneakers for my sister. I was like, what? My dad said my sister saw, liked, and wanted the sneakers, but they didn't have the money to buy it and stop her from having a meltdown in the middle of the store, and she would refuse to leave the store without them. I angrily told them that I had been saving up that money for my own birthday party. My dad promised he would pay me back next month and I can have my birthday party and invite my friends over. I told him that my birthday isn't next month, it's this month, and my friends will laugh at me if I tell them I postponed it. He replied that I should reconsider who I'm friends with then. He has a short temper, and I obviously pushed him to his limit when I said no and kept asking them to return the sneakers. He loudly said, "No! I just lost it and said they're both thieves, and I hate them both for stealing my money and ruining yet another birthday for me." He yelled at me and said, "No, you are getting on my last nerve, and I am not gonna take your garbage anymore. No birthday party for you. Not next week, not next month because of what you just said, and you're goddamn grounded. Now get the F out of my face and stay gone until I tell you otherwise." My mom just looked at me and sternly approved of his message. I ran upstairs and my dad shouted after me that I was way out of line and I had to be taught some manners for calling them thieves to their face. I'm now grounded for calling them that. I didn't get my money back, but I did get called an overprivileged, spoiled brat for having little to no consideration for my sister's struggle, and for acting so selfishly and throwing a 3-year-old's tantrum over a party that they're no longer allowing me to have because I called them thieves. Am I the butthole? OP, are you the butthole for calling thieves thieves? Are you the butthole for being a literal child and expecting your parents to treat your birthday with even a shred of respect and decency? Are you the butthole for expecting your parents to show you the same respect that they show your sister? You're not acting like some spoiled brat who's like, "Oh, I'm 16, buy me a new car, daddy." Fundamentally, OP, the only thing you're asking for is to be treated fairly, with respect, like another human being, but your parents aren't even giving you that. You can always do something on your birthday, even if it costs no money. It costs $0 to go to a park and invite some friends and hang out at the park. Like, there's so many things they could do that doesn't cost any money, but still makes a special event of your birthday. But based on this post, it sounds like they're not even doing that. They're saying, "Oh, well, we don't have any money because we spent it all on your sister, so maybe better luck next year, sweetie." OP, I'm not sure if this is clear to you because you're 16 and it's very difficult to evaluate what's going on in your own family sometimes. In my opinion, and I'm pretty sure in the opinion of a lot of people who are listening to this video, what's happening to you is straight up child abuse. I'm not exaggerating. They're stealing money from you and they're using your money on your sister. They're setting up a complete double standard and they're just not treating you with respect. So like, for example, if your sister has a meltdown, they respond by buying her sneakers. But if you have a meltdown, they respond by grounding you and robbing you of your birthday party, and robbing you literally of the money that you earned. So no, OP, you get a rock solid 0 out of 5 buttholes. You're a victim here. Your parents, on the other hand, are awful parents. I'm giving them 4 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for telling my sister-in-law that her friend is no longer allowed over because she wears revealing clothes around my husband? I'm a 23-year-old woman and I have a 24-year-old husband. He has a sister who's 25 who he's extremely close to. Me and her have gotten along since my husband first introduced me to her, and I actually consider her my sister. Recently, my sister-in-law has started living with us. She was supposed to get married to her fiance, but last second he canceled the wedding and she had nowhere to live since he was her support system financially. We took her in so she can get back on her feet. Well, since she lives with us, we allow her to bring her friends over. One friend in particular, a 24-year-old woman, sleeps over a lot. I don't really mind since my sister-in-law's room is in the attic and her friend doesn't really come out of her room often. I have noticed though that when my husband is out, she would wear big hoodies and long baggy pants. But as soon as my husband comes back, she'll go back up to the attic and come back wearing booty shorts and basically a transparent shirt which shows everything. I thought I was overreacting and didn't do anything about it, but the other day my husband came to me shaking. When I asked him what was wrong, he basically cried to me that he felt extremely uncomfortable and angry. When I asked him for a reason, he said that every time the sister-in-law's friend comes over, she literally flirts nonstop with him when no one is around. Once, apparently, she even took off her pants, and when he told her not to, she said that she just needed some air. Apparently, the reason why he was so upset this time was because a few minutes earlier, she tried to grab his hand. My husband hates physical touch with anyone he's not comfortable with, which is why this was a breaking point for him. After a long discussion between us two, we told my sister-in-law how we didn't want her friend over anymore because she was making us both uncomfortable. My sister-in-law freaked out, saying that it wasn't her friend's fault that my husband was attracted to her, and started saying that we were both sexist buttholes. Honestly, I feel really bad. I'm a big advocate for women, and this has really made me feel like a sexist woman. Also, my sister-in-law refuses to look at me now, and I'm scared that our relationship is ruined. I also feel bad for her because I know that my sister-in-law's friend was a big support system for her during these hard times, and I might have taken that away from her. Am I the butthole? OP, it is completely 100% justifiable and reasonable for you to expect people who come into your home to not try to sleep with your husband. Also, I have a feeling that since your sister-in-law said that it's not her friend's fault that your husband is attracted to her, I think that the friend is lying to her about the real situation. My guess is that your sister-in-law's friend is telling your sister-in-law that your husband is making moves on her. That's why she's getting upset that you're banning the friend, because from her perspective, it seems like your husband is the one with the problem. But either way, it's kind of irrelevant because your husband has a right to not be sexually harassed in his own home. It's not sexist, it's just basic human rights. No means no, it's universal. What's wrong with this woman? OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. Also, your husband gets 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving the friend 2 out of 5 buttholes, and I think I'm giving your sister-in-law 1 out of 5 buttholes because it's not exactly clear if she has a full understanding of what's really going on. But even if she is being fooled by the friend, she still has an obligation to respect the house that she's been brought into and is presumably not paying any rent on. And she's clearly just not respecting your own boundaries in your own home. So inherently, she deserves a butthole score for that. Am I the butthole because I wouldn't duck down on a roller coaster so a family could have a family pic of just them? I was on a roller coaster, if you can call it that. It's one of those water rides that have tracks to pull it. Anyways, the boat fits 6 people in it and I was in a family of 5. I was in the back, and when we were going to the top, they asked me to duck down because when we were going straight down, there would be a photo and they wanted a family photo. I'm not sure if this is against the rules, and I think I would have been safe if I did, but I really just didn't want to, and I felt like I shouldn't have to duck for them, so I said no. The parents kept arguing with me, telling me to duck so they can have their family photo, and they called me a spoiled brat. I told them to go F themselves, and then we started going down. This is where I may have been the butthole. I flipped off the camera and I made a funny face with my tongue out. Oh my god, when they looked at the photos, they were livid, saying that I ruined their opportunity to have a nice family photo. They asked me where my parents were, and I told them to get lost. Their kids were just laughing their butts off. I'm not sure if they bought the photos or not. The dude who operated the photos said I was immature and I need to grow up. Immature? Need to grow up? You're in an amusement park! Dude, you're in an amusement park designed for kids to get on roller coasters and have fun and goof around. This is a respectable establishment and you should not be flipping off the camera in this sacred, hallowed space where we only talk in serious tones. Give me a break. What an idiot. What an idiot. That guy's just upset at you because it's his job to sell as many photos as possible, and by flipping off the camera, no one's gonna buy the photos, so that's why he's upset at you. But come on, that's just stupid. And the parents say that you ruined the photo? No, it's an amusement park. Just get in line again. Also, it's not your responsibility to duck, it's their responsibility to ask the ride people if they can get on a boat all themselves. And if that means waiting sometimes, then that means waiting. But clearly, they would rather not wait. They would rather you suffer for their convenience. So, no, OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving the camera operator 2 out of 5 buttholes, and also the parents 2 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for going after my ex for 10 years of child support? My ex left me for someone else when my kids were young, only 5 and 2 years old. He paid child support until he was medically released from the military in late 2011. Since then, he hasn't paid a penny. Anytime I've requested help, even just like $10 for school supplies, he tells me he has no money. He's always begged me not to file through the state and apologize for not paying. Of course, he always promises that he'll start paying at some point. He gets about $2,000 a month from Veteran Affairs, but his work history has been spotty at best. His parents have helped him with his bills. He's actually had a good job for the last 2 years now, and he still can't help. I've given him all required visitation plus extra. I want my kids to be able to have a relationship with their dad. Recently, he had words with my new husband, saying that he doesn't owe anything, morally or legally. He said I should file through the state so they can tell me to my face that he doesn't owe anything, which is his words. I talked to my kids, who are now 19 and 16, got their go-ahead and filed. The state will now be pursuing about $70,000 in back support plus current support for the 16-year-old. I know it's a lot of money, and between him and his current significant other, they have quite a few kids living with them. This will put a huge financial strain on them. So am I the butthole? No, OP. So it's okay for him to put a financial strain on you and your kids, but it's not okay for you to put a financial strain on him? No, that's not how it works. If you're one of the 2 people involved in creating a child, then you're responsible for that child. That's just how it is. He says he doesn't owe you anything morally or legally, but he does, both morally and legally, owe you money. OP, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes. I can't believe you waited this long to file. Your deadbeat ex gets 3 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for lashing out at my husband for his suggestion that I stop buying formula instead of canceling his streaming services to save money? I'm a 32-year-old woman who's the breadwinner in our relationship. I have a toddler and a 9-month-old baby. Their needs are never ending, and everything I buy is expensive. My husband, who's 37, is unemployed, but he uses part of my salary for his subscription services. It costs over $80 a month for Hulu, Netflix, HBO, Amazon, ESPN, and more. I keep finding myself coming up short with money. I keep neglecting buying hygiene products, and I only have 1 pair of shoes that look decent. I can't remember the last time that I bought anything nice for myself, and I keep feeling guilty just thinking of going shopping for stuff that's necessary. I sat my husband down for a discussion, and I told him his subscriptions are costing too much money. I can't keep paying for them when I have other responsibilities. I asked him to choose one channel to keep, and he threw a fit, calling me ridiculous to think that streaming services are the reason I'm always short on money, and he blamed it on expensive and unnecessary makeup. He calls it fake up, and he says I keep wasting money on it. I got angry and said that he needs to respect that makeup is part of my personality, and I will not quit buying or wearing it. He said that I was trying to financially control him since I got offended when he pointed out that I waste money on makeup. And he explained that he cannot and will not be bought with money no matter how desperate he is. I said, okay then, let me cancel all the streaming services save for one until he can find a job to pay for them. He refused and said that since he's a stay-at-home parent, those streaming services are a right, not a privilege, and that I should keep paying for them without complaining since he's staying with our sons all day and it's taxing just like my job. The final straw was when he suggested I stop buying formula and go back to breastfeeding since that's unnecessary and expensive. I was floored by this and was seething. I lashed out at him, asking him if he literally thought that canceling formula is better than his precious subscriptions. Also, I work, so I have no time to breastfeed. He said that I was trying to push him, but I said that he had no choice anymore and I had to cancel his subscriptions. He replied that I was being unfair and unappreciative of his efforts. He stormed off after calling me controlling and he kept cold shouldering me. Am I the butthole? OP also clarifies that the reason why she stopped breastfeeding was because of health issues. OP, What? The guy wants you to stop buying formula? What does he expect the babies to eat? Tacos? And then, what kind of 37-year-old man doesn't understand that if he wants his toys, he has to pay for them? When I was 16 years old, I wanted to play Final Fantasy XI, but I couldn't because Final Fantasy XI required a good internet connection, and my internet was terrible back then, and my dad didn't want to pay for high-speed internet because he never used the computer. So I was like, screw it, I'm going to go get a job. And I got a job, and I paid for high-speed internet, and I paid for my Final Fantasy XI subscription because I'm not an idiot, because I'm not an entitled douchebag butthole, right? Like, and this guy honestly thinks that watching Squid Games on Netflix is a higher priority than feeding his own flesh and blood children. Look, baby, I'm like only 7 episodes in, and I'm dying to know how this ends, so I guess you're just gonna have to starve for a couple of weeks. Sorry, baby. And his thing about how the streaming services is a right. Remember the 24th Amendment of the Constitution? Every American has a right to Netflix and HBO and Hulu, and these rights absolutely shall not be infringed upon by anyone, especially not nagging wives who make all the money and do all the work in their relationship. Anyways, OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving your husband 3 out of 5 buttholes. Seriously, OP, the dude doesn't work and he would rather watch TV than feed his own kids? Why are you even with him? That was r/Am I the Butthole, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.